So today's review may or may not have to do with the fact that Scott McNeil, for the first time since starting to attend, officially will not be attending MetroCon this year. It's unfortunate, it is sad, and it ruins so many of my plans this year. I'm more or less upset just that I don't get to catch up with a friend that I only get to see once a year. But beyond that, yeah, I had some really good plans this year that will wait for another opportunity. But until then, there is plenty of toy reviewing to do, and we will start with one of his. Well, more appropriately, we'll end the week with one of his characters, Transmetal Rattrap, this one being the 10th anniversary re-release of the original mold. This is one of those toys I had as a kid that got me out of my fear of the beast and let me start collecting Transformers again. It's kind of what led to the modern day obsession, so I'm going to blame it on this little red rat here. As you can see, he is a deluxe as opposed to the original, which is just your tiny little basic figure. This was quite the upgrade for the guy. He is cast in a brown shade of plastic with a little bit of glittering to it, as well as a brighter shade of gray than was on the original toy. They're trying to bump up his show accuracy a little bit, but there is toy accuracy remaining, such as that little Rattrap stamp on the back of his back. Should have thought that out better. And yeah, he also has the Transmetal Chrome. Now, after 10 years, mine was flaking pretty heavily, so I really didn't mind picking this guy up again. But 10 years on from this version, and it is far more pristine. I don't know if they just did a better job this time, or if the fact that I haven't played with this one nearly as heavily as I played with the original has something to do with it. Either way, the chrome after a decade is still looking quite nice, quite intact. I do really like the brown and metallic red color schemes. This rat always did appeal to me. I also love the head. Look at that. The sharp teeth, little buck teeth are in the front. Eyes nice and blazoned. This little robotic rat definitely has a lot of character to him. Always liked the toy for that. Now, function-wise, there's not a whole lot you can do. There's a little bit of rocking in his hind legs, as well as a little bit of motion here. Hinges, just to give a little bit of motion. But they're not going to give you a whole lot because of how stunted the back legs articulation is. So it's mostly just, hey, he's a rat. But it's better than the originals, which were just static legs that couldn't do anything. No, the real appeal here is the tail. Oh my god, the tail. Alright, count them with me. Let's see how many hinges he has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I miscount? I counted. Hang on. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh. So I miscounted before the review. I counted up twice and got 10 before the review. Counted up 11 times and ruined my bit. Ugh. Oh, well. It wasn't a funny bit to begin with. You're not missing a thing. 11 hinges. And I love how the hinges go in different directions, which means this tail can do ever so much without relying on the ever-popular ball joint for such universal rotation. No, he uses that elsewhere. For the tail, all hinges, and all nicely in place and sticking where it's supposed to. So, it's a transmetal, so there is much more to him than meets the eye. I'm sorry for using that line. We're going to fold these sections out, revealing a little bit more of that orange paint highlight, and we're going to fold the rear rat legs up, extend those out like so. All this is going to come folding up like that, and out come the exhausts. And there we have the what's supposed to be some kind of vehicle mode. I usually call this like a transport mode or a speed mode, whatever you have. It is something of a third transformation, and it does give him not so much of a different look, but I like the fun of it. He's got 4 wheels to the ground now, and for an improvised thing, kind of rolls pretty well. He rolls a lot better than modern Transformers that actually are cars. And I love the exhausts. That's such an unnecessary detail. They could have just molded them in or painted them in there. Nope, they are fold-out bits. It is hilarious, and it, again, it adds so much character to this toy. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, so let's get him into robot mode. Since we can't really do a whole lot more here, we'll set the tail aside. Everything like this pretty much where I need it to be. So I'm going to go fold these out of the way just so I have some more wiggle room. I'm going to go ahead and unlatch the legs, split open the rat head. This is the part where I wish I had not cut my nails, because now I need them. Ugh, man, the pegs on these old toys were tight. There we go. They're attached on ball joints, so we're gonna keep those out there to the sides. We'll do what we need to do with them here in a bit. Fold the legs out and rotate them around. Go ahead and fold the feet down. Now he's staring at us. This is awkward. Let's actually get him transformed here. To fold arms out like so. These kind of have a weird way of going back in. It's always hard for me to remember exactly how everything's supposed to go back that way. While we're folding the entire torso down, we have to flip the head out. Hang on. Kind of tight in there. No, there we go. And there. Get this pegged into the back. Now go ahead and tuck all that back in now that we don't need that space anymore. Click, click. Bring the arms down, and now these can fold into these shoulder guards. These, like so. I like to keep the rat feet pointed out that way. And just like that, these words were not too terribly complicated toys, at least as far as transformation engineering. That is our Transmetal Rattrap in his full robot mode. Now, he's not entirely show accurate. This is the one time where the TV show did take a liberty with the design. In the show, those wheels would have folded, rotated up and around to be behind his shoulders. That way all the bulk was on his upper back. It didn't look like he was carrying this massive load on his lower back like he is here. Yeah, that's not how the toy worked, and they kind of just played with it a little bit, just to make it a little bit more interesting in the show. But here, it's still mostly show accurate, and the 10th anniversary adjustments to the color scheme do help that a little bit. We'll take a look at the head sculpt, and it is definitively Rattrap, right down to that bronze brain of his exposed, painted up in orange. The lighter plastic does kind of mute some of the details in the face. You can see that big toothy grimace he has does not quite shine through nearly as much as it would with the darker plastic, but that's a minor nitpick. You can also see here the Maximal logo that has been added to his chest. That actually makes him inaccurate to the show, but we'll ignore that briefly. Alright, so taking a look at him, of course, a lot more silver is revealed here, and a lot of the brown and red now moved to the back. He's a very unusual case with the transmetals where really, like, unless you turn him around, none of the transmetal is exposed anymore. He's all Rattrap now, which I guess that comes from having your entire beast mode hanging off of your back, your entire robot mode just kind of tucking into the gut. I will admit, that does make him this huge backpack former. You know, the beast really only contributes those shoulder pauldrons. That's about it, unfortunately. Let's see what we do have here, though. As transmetals do, robot mode is more... the robot details are to the beast. The organic details are to the actual toy. You can see that. You can see a lot more musculature. He's got this six-pack ab thing going on, as well as lines and creases where, muscle or fur would be. And then he has molded intestines. Brain, intestine. What is with Rattrap and exposed vital organs? Come on. This is nasty, Hasbro. Why did you make that Rattrap's thing? Ugh. At least he doesn't pull his guts out to use as a gun. Thank you, Cheetor. A little bit more mechanical detail. He's not entirely organic in robot mode, of course. With feet like that, how could you be? And these feet are very, very important because, thanks to that way he transforms with his entirety of beast mode on his back, He is extremely back heavy, and pretty much this toy's future depends on how tight these hinges on the ankles are. So he does have that little bit of design flaw to him, unfortunately. But then again, he is a rather thin character, and that's a pretty big rat he has to transform into. So at the time, I guess that's about as good as they can do. We got the Generations one to do better now if we really want to. I'd review him, but he might break on me. I don't want him to break. I'm going to go ahead and reattach his weapon, which is now something of a whip, which kind of works. You know, Beast Wars toys were... There's kind of this like bar when it comes to what they do with their tails. More often than not, they became whip weapons, or they became parts of the arm. It's not the most creative of uses, but at the very least, all the hinges do allow you to make up whatever you want for this. If you want to fold it up straight and make a lance out of it, you can do that. If you want to hang it limp and make a whip, that's fine too. I tend to prefer the whip because it doesn't look as silly as that super long thing coming out of his hand. But beyond the 11 hinges that do make up his beast mode tail, including a little hinge right there, it usually goes ignored. Let's see what else he has. He does have a ball joint in the neck, but there's really not a whole lot it does. Well, that's a full swivel. I forgot it's actually a hinge that attaches him. So, full swivel around head. That's perfectly fine if I actually have it in frame. The shoulders have a great cut in the ball joint, so they have great rotation. The pauldrons do get in the way, but luckily they fold out of the way for any of your articulation needs. That's good. Bicep rotation, 180-degree elbow. I love seeing things like that. No waist thanks to the transformation, but we do have full ball-jointed hips that have a great range to them. Thigh swivels all there. We have a nice deep knee beyond the 90. And then, of course, the aforementioned hinges in the ankles that your Rattrap's balancing future depends on. So he does, like most Beast Wars toys, carry quite the range of articulation and can hold poses considerably well. Better than you'd really think, considering he's got so much hanging off of his back the way he does. If you want, you can also use this as a handy-dandy tripod and use that for a little bit of extra stability in some poses. You're not going to get a whole lot because it's all based on the tightness of the hinges, but you can do it if you need it. So that is Transmetal Rattrap from the 10th anniversary line. It's mostly the same toy, slight changes here and there, but changes I think for the better. Yeah, even the weird maximal symbol on his chest for some reason. It's still a solid figure, very back heavy. It's not the most challenging or complex of Beast Wars toys, but I still think it carries so much personality to it. Oh, don't you fall now. I'm doing the outro. I'm commending you here. Do not spoil it. As I said, I think the Beast Mode carries a lot of personality to it. The vehicle mode is fun. Very goofy, but fun. And yeah, the robot mode, thanks to the different way they did Season 2, definitely does carry the show accuracy that you were missing from this first series of Beast Wars toys. So, this is one of my favorites out of Beast Wars. I am still a fan of this figure. Now, if only we could get a Generations version so these wheels could actually get off of his butt, then I would be happy.